What is going on, guys? Tuesday vlog, and this is going to be a part one to the FR7 open source mid-range long-range build. Before we get started, let's go down to the table and take a closer look. Alright guys, so just a quick tabletop look so I can show you the build. I am running the Purodrone 2408.5 1922 kV motors, and again this is on 7-inch 6S Maytech SAM M8Q GPS with the the specific platypus tail mount for that, Lumineer Axie 2 long range antenna. Currently I'm running the Sparrow 2 Pro for a camera with a 2.3 lens, and then you can see my Crossfire antenna up front there. Not running diversity, but let's go ahead and take this top plate off so we can get a closer look. So there's 4 screws that hold the top plate on, but when I work on this I don't really just take off the top plate, because with these camera supports you have to kind of shift them out of the way to get to the front screws, which means you also have to loosen the FPV camera support, and I find that to be kind of a hassle, so I just removed the whole front like couch mount thing for the GoPro and the FPV cam. Then make sure we unplug the wire for the FPV cam, and then this just kind of like lifts off. And you can see that the Crossfire antenna is still connected, so you can't like pull this completely off, but it just like gets it out of the way, right? So we've got the Newbie Drone Infinity Stack, because the plan for this is to put HD on it, and you can see there's a ton of room for an air unit back here. And now we have the Caddx Vista coming out, which is even smaller, but we'll have to see if it has the same kind of range. Crossfire Micro V2, these are really old. I've got a bunch of these, so didn't bother buying like a Nano or Diversity RX or anything like that. So if you look on the front, so the stack is rotated 180 degrees, so I can run the power wires at the front. Again, just leaving room for the air unit in the back. But I've got 2 1000 UF caps tied to the power leads, and they kind of just like sit under the FPV camera. And then I've got a separate smaller cap on the 9-volt reg, just to get the signal to the VTX as clean as possible. This is my V-Fly buzzer. So what this does is when you lose power, this thing starts beeping hella loud, and it has an LED on it that flashes. And to get it to stop, when you unplug, there's just like a little button on the side that you have to push. Rush Tank VTX goes up to 800 milliwatt. And then I already showed you guys the GPS. So yeah, that's basically the build. There's tons of room. And like I said, the plan for this eventually is to go HD. So this will come out. I can move this somewhere, like extend the wires and mount it back here, because then that leaves a ton of room for the air unit right there. Yeah, let's slap it back together and go up top. Alright guys, so that was just a quick look at the build. And now I just kind of want to talk about why I even decided to build a 7-inch quad. Because, not a lot of people know, but I've been like dabbling with long range for years. Mostly it started with 5-inch quads, wings, I've had a Crossfire Micro. Now I've got a full-size Crossfire. I've flown free sky full range receivers, like to their very limits, which for me here in Idaho was about a mile before I fail-safed. But long range is always something that's interested me because it's like, it's almost like the like essence of FPV. We FPV so we can have like this out of body experience and fly through the air. And there's nothing that really kind of like encompasses that like long range, because even if you're only flying a mile out, just that experience of just traveling a mile, like as quick as you could drive a car, flying through the air, low to the ground or high. It's just like a rush. It's such a trip. Like racing in itself is like a rush. Freestyle is like sketchy because you might break your stuff, like if you mess up a trick. But long range, it's like its whole, own category, and it's just like I've probably never been more scared in FPV than flying long range, because if you lose your quad, that could be a nightmare, especially if you're flying underwater. But anyway, and I didn't have like a plan to build a long range quad. I was just in Rotor Riot one day in the Facebook group, and looking back through my history, this was around September, and I was just scrolling through, and somebody made a thread about, post your 7-inch quads. I think it was something along those lines. But the designers of this guy, Jeremy, I'm going to butcher his name, Jeremy and Jeff, I'm not going to even try their last names. They like collaborated and designed this quad, and it's open source. You can get this thing cut anywhere. You can print out everything for it. People, design their own prints for it. It's all open source. And you can also buy the frame at Airblade, and you can buy the print kit from BMC3 or BMC 3D. But those guys were posting their videos like, oh, this is the FR7, and I was like, is this a Hero 7 or a Hero 8? And somebody was like, it's a Session 5, which doesn't have stability. And I was blown away with how clean the footage was, because with my 6-inch builds, it was really hard to get clean footage on 6-inch, and then these guys are flying 7-inch, and they were getting clean footage. So I was immediately impressed, and I was like immediately drawn to it. And again, it goes back to that whole kind of that theme of stiffness, like what I talked about with the HD1 and the Vivid, both very stiff frames, more so the HD1. But they designed this guy, it's heavy, but they designed it to be really, really stiff. And if you look at the arms, they're just like, they're beefy. They all join in the center there. It's a sandwich design. But yeah, it's beefy. And I've been tinkering with this build for a while. And for the most part, my Session 5 footage is really clean. Using Betaflight 4.1, RPM filtering. I'm running RPM filtering with the sliders turned all the way down. I've got the second dynamic notch filter turned off. And it flies really clean. The motors come down really cold. And that's kind of like another fun thing about long range. If you like tinkering and experimenting, there's a lot of that with long range, because you've got to get your footage clean. Getting your footage clean is like a big part of it, because it's when you go up to bigger props, it gets really difficult. Getting your GPS working, like for me, that's just been like an experiment all in itself. I've gone through like 3 different GPSs, and this Maytech M8Q, Sam M8Q seems to be the best so far. But back when I used to dabble with long range, in 2016, 2017, Betaflight didn't have GPS recovery. That's like when they were first looking at it. And now they do, and I've tested it and it works. So now I can much more confidently, send it out a couple of miles and not worry about losing it as much. So yeah, that's kind of why I was immediately drawn to this frame, just because of the footage these guys were posting. And this is not meant to be super efficient and go 5-10 miles and just like slowly drain the battery. This is designed to cover 2 to 3 miles really fast. So before, when I would with my 6-inch, I was going for max efficiency, and it was still fun, but my average cruising speed was 30-35 miles per hour. I took this guy out to my long range spot out in the desert, and I basically got this landmark where I fly out to the end of the reservoir, and there's a little bridge thing, and I fly out to that, and I know it's 1.3 miles, and then I turn around and come back. This thing got out there so quick. I mean, it just, because it's cruising at 50 or 60 miles an hour, and it just got out there so quick. And I came back, and I only used 1,800 mAh. So I could have gone, probably another mile. But yeah, it's if you haven't messed around with flying mid-range or long range, it's such a trip. It's such a trip. It's so much fun. So yeah, that was just kind of an intro, kind of an overview. And the reason why this has taken me so long to do is because there's so much to dial in with a long range quad. As an example, I've got 2 lipos. So we've got a China Hobby line, and then this Dynegy. So another thing that you have to dial in is your power usage, your power consumption, because you have to know your range and your runtime and your safety limits. So what I'm going to be doing, depending on the weather, is basically comparing these 2 packs to see which is more suitable. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the Dynegy, but I want to see by how much, because the China Hobby line is a 40C 3300 mAh, and the Dynegy is a 65C 3700 mAh. So 400 more milliamp hours, but they weigh the same. So the China Hobby line is 513 grams, the Dynegy is 520 grams. So they basically weigh the same. But the Dynegy has more milliamp hours. And normally when I see something like that, I'm super skeptical, because it means one of the manufacturers is lying. But I'm going to find out. I'm going to compare the batteries, drain them, charge them, and see which one has the more accurate mAh. And the reason why I have these 2 batteries specifically is because initially when I built this guy, like I said, it has 1900 kV motors. I started with a Purodrone 5S 3300 mAh pack, which was also a little over 500 grams. And Purodrone packs are awesome, but in this case they're heavier, probably because the cells are a lot denser, a lot higher quality, which is great. But I didn't like it on 5S because I felt like I was getting way into the throttle just to maintain a cruising speed, and I didn't really like that. It felt like flying a 5-inch quad on 4S with 21 to 2300 kV. I mean, it was fine. I just wanted a little more pep. So I so I switched to 6S. I ordered the China Hobby line, and Dynegy actually sent me this one, just because I told them I wanted to review it. So thank you for that, Dynegy. And I'm really glad it's good. It's really easy to review something when it's really good. But anyway, That'll be a later video. So I switched to 6S and I wanted packs that were the same weight as my 5S pack. I didn't want to go heavier. So by keeping it the same weight and going up in watt hours, I'm just adding runtime. So I think, and this isn't like concrete yet, but I've gone from like 6-minute runtime all the way up to like 10-minute runtime by switching to 6S. But again, that has to be confirmed. So yeah, over the next few weeks, I'm going to be comparing these two batteries. If I get a good break in the weather, I'll probably set up a racetrack, like a big ass racetrack, where I test out at Simplot. I'm gonna set up a racetrack that's like a quarter-mile long, and drain the batteries drain about 3,000 mod each pack, and then kind of see where the voltage is when I land, and that'll tell me which battery actually has more milliamp hours, and then I can monitor which one's sagging a little bit harder. So when I first saw the videos these guys were posting with this quad, I was like, it would be so sweet to have a 7-inch quad that cruises at 50 miles an hour and fly it in HD. Because like flying long range and then being able to see everything, that would just be amazing. The reason why this is analog right now is because I want to be I want to be really confident in my GPS recovery before I switch to HD. Because if you look at my OSD, with all the elements I have, specifically like the home arrow, the ground speed, the distance from home, like I don't think these are things that are in the DJI Betaflight OSD yet. So I wouldn't be fully confident in my return to home if I couldn't see those elements. Because the reason why you need a home arrow, and I didn't realize this until I started flying long range again, the reason why you need a home arrow, because when you fly away, your home arrow tells you if return to home is going to work. If you fly a mile out and your arrow's pointing in a different direction, that's where it's going to go if it fail safes. I didn't think about that at first. That's why a home arrow is so important. They have the satellite count, which that's good. That's important. But so that's why it's analog for now. It's been an interesting experience flying analog so much. You guys probably saw my breakup video. It's kind of like I'm enjoying flying the 7-inch in spite of it being analog, really. But yeah, it's just, I'm not really like, I've never been much of a freestyle pilot. I love my racing, but just the fast cruising on a 7-inch, it's just so much fun. It's like you eat up so much ground. It's like, I feel like it really encompasses what we love about FPV, you know what I mean? So yeah, guys, that's just the part 1. Hopefully I haven't said that too many times. For part 2, I'm probably going to try and nail down the comparison between these two lipos. Now, to be fair, the Dynegy full price is $90, and the China Hobby line is $56. So the question is the Dynegy almost worth twice as much as the China Hobby line? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out for sure. So far, I haven't had any issues with either pack, really. You guys, let me know if, because this series can be like as many videos as it needs to be. You guys let me know if there's anything specific about long range that you want to hear about. I'm definitely gonna do the lipo comparison, and then maybe for the final video, I'll just like take it out to the desert and send it, and we'll see how far we can stretch one of these packs. So I do have a bit of a surprise for you guys, and I should have dropped this in the beginning of the video, but I missed it. I forgot. By the time you see this, I'm gonna set this to upload Tuesday morning. I will actually be in Orlando, and you know what else is in Orlando? Rotor Riot. Flying out today. It's Sunday. I'm on vacation. Drew messaged me a few weeks ago and asked if I wanted to come out for a week and hang out. I'm super grateful for the invite, and and I'm really excited to go to Florida because it's literally snowing here right now. Like, it's our first snow of the season. But I'm not really sure why. Because again, I'm not much of a freestyle pilot, not compared to Drew. But you know, like maybe he has something different in. I don't know what he has in mind. He hasn't told. He won't tell me. He won't tell me. So I'm just gonna go out there, enjoy the warm weather, and we'll see what he has in store. I know Bardwell's gonna be there. He just posted that his live stream is canceled because he's stuck in traffic. I know Vanny's gonna be there. I know Jeff and Zoe are gonna be there. I mean, and I haven't seen those guys in a few years. So it should be a fun week. I mean, hopefully by the time you see this, we're having fun. But like, I have no idea what he has planned. I'm gonna bring my HD1 and my Vivid and my Tiny Hawk. I don't know if I'll need my Tiny Hawk, but I'm just bringing stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with the Rotorite crew, film. I probably won't vlog. I don't feel like carrying my camera. I've already got to worry about my drone bag and my suitcase. But yeah, we'll see how it goes hanging out with Rotorite in Orlando. All right, guys, that's the Tuesday vlog. As always, thanks for watching.